Hey everybody, welcome back. Breakfast with Bob from Challenge Miami. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Challenge North America, City Bikes, Veneto, the Challenged Athletes Foundation, Florida Dairy Farmers, and Wahoo, our next guest. Oh, I don't know, one of my favorite people on the planet who is loving the wind out here. He is so happy, Mr. Andrew Starykowicz. Starky, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. I don't have to stand and I don't have to sit here and smile while you're doing the
You could be sticking your tongue out at me.
Yeah,
you could
be making faces at you.
You could do whatever the hell you want, man. I like it.
No, it's I was watching the NASCAR races. What was it 2 weeks ago when they were here? And
yeah,
I mean, every single race they had, the flags were straight out. The huge American flag that they had on the back straightaway was straight out. And granted, today the wind's a little different than it was on when the NASCAR guys were here, but it's going to make this one entertaining.
What's fascinating is I think people who race Challenge Daytona and you're in the aero position for 50 miles. This one is a 38-mile race on the bike, and there's with the road course part of this. It's a little different game, don't you think?
Oh, it's very much so. I mean, when I talked to Bill about this originally, when they first had the idea of bringing the $1 million PTO championship to Daytona, I said, I mean, if we're going to have this many pros, we should run the road course that they run the Rolex 24 on at Daytona. We should do that on the bike, and then on the run the racetrack.
Right.
And he said, yeah, it's a little too late for this, but I mean, we were talking about Miami at that point, and he says, I think that's a great idea for Miami, because being just a mile and a half track, and it's awesome to see that it's it's actually come about. So it's gonna be exciting. I think.
Chaos?
I think there's going to be chaos. I think it's going to be, laps are going to be about 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So you put the best runners, I'm going to need about that time on them for 10 miles.
Yes.
So I'm going to have to lap the field to have a shot to win the race. And that's
That's what you're going for.
I wouldn't say that's what I'm going for. I'm going to win the race. But
right.
I think in order for me to be in a good driver's seat to win the race, I'm going to have to lap the field, which means, you're going to have to pass a lot of guys. And
with that 20-meter draft. Oh no, and that is a change.
It doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. I mean, if you're lapping somebody, you have such a quick closure rate that the draft zone doesn't even matter.
Okay.
And with the wind swirling around like they are, I think if the 12 meters is enforced, it'll be a fair race.
Is bike handling a factor in this one?
Oh, very much so.
Don't you think?
Very much so. I mean, I watched Jan almost bite it twice this morning. I was just trying to figure out that turn down at the end of the back straightaway there.
Yeah, I was talking to Jody Stimson, and she said just going into one of the turns, inside or outside, if you get the wrong line, you're in the wrong part. You end up in the wrong part of the track, and you get blown over.
Yes, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be. The way I don't know how they're going to enforce the rules. Ride to the light,
right.
Ride to the left, pass on the right. I mean, if somebody takes a line on a turn or takes a bad line on a turn, can you pass them on the left? Or so we're going to have to figure that out at the pro meeting.
Right.
I understand the rules, but you also have to consider safety and everybody's health.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room.
It's red. Big red elephant.
We were in Kona 2 years ago, and we were talking Ironman, and you were pretty sick at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think I prompted it, but immediately you started saying, "Hey, I will never get a TUE. That's something that's just not part of my DNA." And just a few days later, you come home from Kona and weren't able to race, obviously, because you were sick as a dog, and ended up applying for your first TUE?
Yeah. I turned professional in 2005, and to stay healthy for 15 years was, I guess, I look back on it, is quite an accomplishment. So,
right.
I went to a pulmonologist instead of just my family practice doctor, and said, I've had this for a couple of weeks now. My son ended up in the hospital with it, and I can't breathe. I can't function. I can't do anything. I can't take care of my kids, and so she recommended basically a basic long-acting beta agonist inhaler that has some short-acting capabilities, and I filed a TUE and started taking it, and it's and then I got drug tested. So
the therapeutic use exemption, so that.
Yes, I mean it was for a 28-day course of an inhaler,
right,
to get rid of an illness that my body was holding on to.
But when you called USADA and said, "Hey, I'm going to be using this, but I'm going to go race in Waco," what they say?
They said you have to balance the risks. At that point, that was an opportunity where they could have easily said, "Hey, we probably aren't going to approve this," or they just said you have to balance the risks, and we can't prevent you from racing. But if you do get drug tested, or if your TUE does not get approved, you'll be held liable for a violation.
Were you worried about that, risk-wise?
No, I really wasn't. The WADA rule book very clearly says that an athlete's health always comes first. And Ed Aschoff, in the fall of 2019, shortly after I started getting better, he posted on Twitter, "Hey, I got this horrible lung infection. I'm hospitalized. Does anybody have any experience with this?" And then, sure enough, a month later, he died. ESPN analyst, elite football player, dies because he got just this random lung infection. And I was fully aware that that my health is number one. I followed the WADA rule book and put my health in front of everything.
Right.
And I got penalized for it.
And the drug that was in this inhaler, which at that point was on the ban list, now is not on it, right?
Correct. It's not. It's approved.
Went off the list as of 2021.
Right. Most of the documents that we presented, they used to remove it from the ban list. So
then after that race, you went to Florida, but you didn't get tested in Waco.
I did not get tested. I got tested at Florida.
At Florida, and that's when the crap hit the fan, basically.
Yeah, about a month later. So it was when they said that, "Hey, you tested positive for this," it's like, yeah, no shit. I'm glad. Because if I didn't test positive for it, that's just a huge problem to begin with. So I'm glad that that part of the process worked. But
right.
There were so many parts of the process that broke down and rules that weren't followed through this whole entire process by USADA, by Ironman. And I've also admitted my shortfalls is that, hey, if I would not have raced Ironman Florida, who's to say if they would have tested me out of competition? They tested another athlete locally that's in my region
so you
out
could
of
have
competition.
Been right.
And then that DCO, that drug tester, drove to Chicago and flew out of Chicago. He drove 8 hours from testing this other athlete to Chicago and then flew out of Chicago. So, if he was coming to test me or not, I don't know.
Right.
But to drive 8 hours to Chicago when you have an airport less than 2 hours away is kind of suspicious.
What takeaways did you have from this? Just from this situation, because you obviously got bashed a little bit on social. Did that? You're a big
that's
boy.
no different than normal. That's my daily routine. Anything I say gets bashed. I asked.
That's why I love having you on.
Yeah,
it's so much fun.
I asked the other day if I should put away the sleds or leave them out because if I put away the sleds because it's
going to snow.
It's going to snow. If I leave them out, we're all tripping over them, getting the bikes out, and it's not going to snow. So, and then people bash me for it, like, don't jinx us, and that why are you posting this on social media? You're wasting this 45 seconds of my life. I'm not going to get back. I'm like, wow, okay. So I'm used to it. It's again, there is so much that's happened to me in my life again, this is just it's something that'll go. In 2012, in 2013, 2014, all anybody talked about was the whole Abu Dhabi incident. Right. And then, 2017, 2018, Ironman fully loved encapsulating anything as possible with me coming back from getting run over.
Run over by a truck and breaking your back, yeah.
Yeah. To be competing at this level with fractures in your back is unheard of. And,
Then you almost lose your little boy.
Well, and that was during that time too. So that was That was a double whammy. But,
Yes.
And then I go through this. It's like, oh, this is,
This is nothing.
everybody's healthy. I'm not stuck in some foreign land. I'm not laying there in braces. Come on. I've been through
You're
far
not doing
worse.
CPR on your kid.
I'm not doing CPR on my kid.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, you knew that as soon as 2021 hit, the ban was over.
Well, I mean, I didn't find out until when I posted on my blog, I found out like 3 minutes before. Everything had been written for months.
Yes.
And all I was putting that last little line in there, whether it was, a warning like every other athlete's gotten,
Right.
or the longest ever suspension for Volanterol, which is what I got.
Yes. And what do you think that cost you financially?
A lot. I mean, I'm not going to dwell on that, but I mean, the financial costs are still rolling in. I mean, sponsors, and just the opportunity to race Challenge Daytona.
Right.
I mean, had it been a 12-month, which I mean, if you look at bans, they're usually a warning, 3
Yes.
months, 6 months, 9 months, 12, 15, 18, 2 years. I mean, there are these even to be a 13-month is odd. And had it been a 12-month,
You would have raced Daytona.
I would have been eligible the day before Challenge Daytona.
Yeah.
So it just happened to be a 13-month.
Pretty interesting.
Hey, you're in their Hall of Fame, so you can speak to it more than I can.
What I love is that you don't hide from anything, right? That if stuff happens, you're willing to take it. It was funny because people were cutting out that clip from my interview with you and
it
posting
was
that everywhere.
very
I was like, I will
popular.
never do a TUE. I mean, do you regret that, saying that? 'Cause
No.
Obviously, no, okay.
No, I mean, I still am 100%. And when I was talking
You're
about
still
that,
100% against TUEs.
I mean, this process is clearly has issues. I mean, I can't speak to exactly the process because it wasn't followed, but it has inherent flaws.
Right.
But the biggest thing is what people don't realize is there's 4 different types of TUEs, and what I constantly speak about is chronic TUEs, something that people are going to take years and years and years and months and time consistently
Right.
to gain an advantage. I mean, again, I'm not backpedaling here.
Right.
Chronic TUEs need to go. And I've even said that since I know TUEs are not going to go, we need to just post them, have it out there, say, hey, this person, everybody knows that, hey, fill out before the race, fill out a drug form saying, here's exactly, if I get drug tested, here's what I'm going to submit. And then everybody, that's public knowledge.
Right.
And I have no problem with if everybody posts it before the race, and then we all know.
What you're dealing
I think
with.
it's going to self-clean the sport, as all of a sudden everybody's going to be like, oh, wait, this person has a TUE for this.
Right.
What's going on here? That's not right.
So back to this race, you've
Yes.
got Jan Frodeno here, you got Lionel Sanders, all these people you love racing the big boys.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up racing the Lifetime Series. I mean,
Right.
that was every single race with Stuart Hayes, Greg Bennett, Matt Reed, Andy Potts. Everybody was there. Bevan Doherty. It was every single week.
Yes.
I
So
mean,
you dig this.
None of this crap of everybody hiding from each other and not wanting to race.
And you're probably fitness-wise, what do you think you're at?
Oh, I'm bad. I mean, I only get 35 minutes of pool time here and there.
Yes.
Just because I'm in a blue state that
Right.
we don't feel like opening up yet.
Yes.
And so swimming, yeah. And then bike. This bike course, I'm excited for.
You're gonna. Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I don't think we've ever seen a race like this at the professional level.
You think we'll have some crashes out here?
Oh, for sure. I think you're going to see women. If the winds are up today, I think you're going to have a lot of women that oversize the front wheel and are going to lose the front wheel in a couple of the turns. And I think a couple of the guys are going to ride a little too much testosterone into the turn and find the cheese grater. I mean, that pavement on the infield on the inside course
Yes.
there, it's coarse.
Yes.
I do not want to crash there.
No.
I'll crash out here on the straightaways.
This will be okay.
Yeah, this
This will
would
be
be
smooth.
okay. This
Yeah,
would,
yeah.
just you slide a little bit. That one, that's a cheese grater in there, man.
Note to self: avoid the cheese grater.
The cheese grater on the infield's gonna it's gonna have some friends, and I just hope I'm not one of them.
Love it. Andrew, as always, thank you for taking time to join us. You're always so much fun to chat with.
Hey, thanks for having me on, and I look forward to this weekend. Challenge Group has done a great job of
They really have.
going out of their way to make sure that we can have races at the professional level, and then to do a race on Friday.
We love it.
And now we get to spend the weekend and actually embrace the age group race, and instead of having to focus on our race and stay off our feet. So I'm looking forward to cheering on everybody on Saturday out there, and then Sunday's going to be. I'm actually tempted to see. Hey, maybe I
just
should
jump
race.
in.
Yeah, maybe I should race
Do a
on
workout.
Sunday.
Why
well,
not?
I wouldn't call it race. I mean, my feet are going to hurt after that race on Friday night. So I'm super excited. I mean, again, these venues are incredible. The safety protocols that they have here are, they follow the NASCAR protocols, and they were one of the first to come back to full time. And to follow these protocols and have the resources they have is absolutely awesome. And I'm super excited to be here.
Andrew Starykowicz has been our guest again. Breakfast with Bob from Challenge Miami. Hold on, everybody. We will be right back.